Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about how a floor can do more, specifically related to acoustics. Let's start with a very clear, absolute statement that acoustics is complicated. Our job here at Ecore is to make you comfortable with this whole conversation. When we talk about acoustics, you really need to understand the basics of acoustics. Let's first start with what sound is. Sound is what you want to hear. It's what people want to hear in their environment. Noise, by definition, is something we at Ecore define as what you don't want to hear. So in the end, what we're really trying to do at Ecore is mitigate noise. Now for us, you've got to understand that all sound and noise is a function of vibration. What vibration is in the commercial space is anytime something is creating an impact on the floor that then can create a vibration. So at Ecore, we're not about eliminating sound itself. We're about eliminating or mitigating the vibration that's going to create that sound. So there's two things. One is the mitigation of the vibration, and one is understanding everything else that's related to that. So we talk about assemblies, we talk about all sorts of things that are going to happen in that space. But it's important to understand, number one, that we are creating systems that are simply mitigating the vibration. Now, when we talk about vibration, we want to talk about vibration in the space. The biggest thing that we really deal with at Ecore, the biggest advantage is the mitigation of vibration-borne noise going from floor to floor, from room 305 to room 205. What we do there is we're mitigating the vibration typically of something that's happening on the floor and the ability for that to transfer down below. That's an IIC rating. And typically, that's the biggest advantage that our systems and our underlayments, everything that we do is gonna impact in the commercial space. And that's one of the biggest conversations you're gonna have. But it's important also to understand the other things that are happening. One of the biggest things that people talk about is STC ratings. That's the transmission of noise from room to room. Now, do our products absolutely impact that? Yes. Because if you create a vibration in this room, it will transfer through the concrete, through into the other rooms next door. But our flooring is going to have less of an impact in that class of test as opposed to IIC, because the wall assembly is so critical to that. That's STC. The one that is a big, important no-no to get pulled into is NRC. That's a noise reduction class. That's where you're looking at the ability of a surface to absorb sound or noise that's already been created. And it's important for you guys to understand that our floors in most cases are not delivering a huge impact there, right? That would be like panels that are hung from the ceiling to absorb noise that's been created, to create acoustical results. That's not the conversation we're having. The last thing I want to talk about is the ability of a floor in the room to create noise. So let's go back. IIC is transfer from this room to the room underneath. STC is a transfer of this room to the room next door, right? When you talk about NRC, we're talking about the ability of a floor potentially to absorb noise created in the room that's already there, right? And let's say carpet is going to be a lot better than a resilient. But we're actually doing a lot of testing around the ability of our floor to mitigate the creation of sound in the room itself. For instance, we've got testing out there that talks about our floor being as quiet as carpet. But it's not as quiet as carpet because it's absorbing the same amount of sound as carpet. It's actually because our floor is mitigating the vibration that's happening in the room, and that's mitigating the creation of noise in the room. It's really important that you guys understand those four basic things: IIC, STC, NRC, and then this new thing that we're testing and bringing to market, which is surface generated noise. For short, we're calling that SGN. So those are the four biggest things. But it's important that you guys understand as you're talking to your clients, this is all about vibration. And that's where our rubber comes in. Our rubber in any form is going to be able to mitigate the vibration that's created. And that's the power of rubber. So as you go into the marketplace, you need to talk about acoustics. We need to talk about acoustics. It is a pressing issue in our space. As the built environment continues to go vertical, as people continue to move into urban environments, the ability of floors to mitigate the vibration-borne noise that's happening in all of these spaces, whether they're living spaces, working spaces, fitness spaces, our floors can do more when it comes to acoustics.